Hey, Gaybros Like.
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
Where are we today?
I'm in San Francisco at home.
And I'm in Chicago at home.
How cold is it there?
It's okay. It's okay. If you come from a civilized country, it's like 2 degrees outside right now. 2 degrees Celsius. How God created temperature.
It's only 55 here.
Only 55. That's pretty crazy for the Bay Area. I mean, here is 30.
3 weeks.
What?
It's been in the 40s for like 3 weeks.
Wow, that's.
So cold on the streets.
I mean, because the thing is, like, Chicago is prepared for being cold. Is the temperatures are absolute, are like houses are like properly insulated. There is like proper heat. It's like I remember, like in my house, in my apartment in San Francisco, I only had like an air vent, and the windows is like one of them. It actually has like a gap, just directly. It's like, don't try. Is that this is never going to be like fully warm. You lost this battle already.
I mostly eat in outdoor spaces which are still open, and the poor wait staff, they've been so cold, like wearing gloves, and it's been really cold for the Bay Area.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, definitely. But here right now is 35.
Yeah,
that is cold, you know. But yeah, what did you watch in this cool day?
So this was your pick. You wanted, after we watched Ed Wood, you wanted me to watch one of your favorite Woody Allen films, Bullets Over Broadway. It was really hard to find a recording of the Broadway play, but I found it. So it stars Zach Braff. That was a joke.
What? Okay.
It was an actual Broadway musical, and it did star Zach Braff.
No way. Did it a musical based on the movie?
Yep. Because when I was on YouTube trying to find like film criticism or interpretations of the film, it was all about the Broadway play.
That's insane. So I assume that it actually just follows the story of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that much about it, but I think it's basically the movie in music.
Turn into a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what Broadway likes to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this was my opinion. As you said, is like I remember this movie fondly. It's like it would used to be like one of my favorite movies, you know, when I was young. But this movie was something that I felt surprised, because when I think about Woody Allen, I always picture a movie where he is like the main character and is an erotic New Yorker, that he's not too talented, or he has some kind of he has like a myriad of complexes, but somehow like women love him. That's the thing. And in this case, it's not about that. It's true that there are like some neurotic people. It's true that it's in New York, but it's more enjoyable, let's say. It's a period piece, you know, but I remember it like just when I watched it, about like this has been a fun entertainment. There has been like a couple of points that I actually laugh out loud the first time that I watched it, and now when I watch it again, it's like that was that, you know. So I was like curious about like how do you feel about it.
It's been a long time since I've watched a Woody Allen film, but I can only think of one other period piece he did. Are there others that I'm not thinking of?
Oh, the Purple Rose of the Caro.
Oh, that's right.
Because it's like 1930s too.
Yeah. Okay. The one I was thinking of is the Owen Wilson one.
Oh, Midnight in Paris, that he goes to the past.
Midnight.
Yeah.
That's the one. So since this was your pick, I get to summarize this, and you're gonna have to help me out. A lot happens. This is a short film, but a lot happens in it. A lot.
It's only 90 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So the main character is a struggling playwright named David Shane, that's played by John Cusack. He also, this takes place in 1928 in New York. So he has surrounded himself with other struggling artists who have convinced themselves that it's better to not be appreciated in your time, and that it's not okay to make art for the masses, and they feel intellectually superior than successful artists or basically anybody else because they, I don't know, sit around in cafes and intellectually masturbate each other. And
love the description.
there's this scene uttered, or this line uttered by, I think it's John Cusack's girlfriend, that like artists are never appreciated in their time, which is hilarious because Woody Allen is incredibly appreciated by his time. And I was imagining that this was going to be the usual, like,
Yeah, but it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's like he's actually making like a bit of a parody about like pretentious artists.
Yeah. So, David, I'm just going to call him John Cusack. John Cusack he's probably written more, but he's produced, 2 of his plays have been produced. They have been failures. And he's convinced it's because he gave up creative control. So with this 3rd play, he is dead set on directing it himself and having full creative control, but his producing partner, or I don't really know exactly who that guy is. He's the guy responsible for finding investors for plays. He couldn't really find anybody that was willing to allow the playwright to actually direct, until a mobster named, I don't know, I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. He's willing to fund the entire production as long as his dim-witted, loud girlfriend, played by Jennifer Tilly, is allowed to play one of the parts. It doesn't have to be the main part, but a significant part. So he's willing to make that concession, although he does kind of battle with this idea that he's selling out. I think especially in front of his friends, but he like wakes up in the middle of the night basically having a panic attack saying, I'm not a sellout and I'm going to insist on having creative control out of everything else.
Didn't you find funny like that, the scene where he's like just having the panic attack and he started screaming through the windows, I'm a prostitute, I'm a sellout.
There were a lot of laugh out loud moments in this film. I was surprised.
Yeah, there is one that I actually had to stop. I will tell you later.
Okay, so he puts together a cast of, I would consider them pretty good actors, although they're all just a little bit past their prime, and they each have these very endearing like quirks about them.
Yeah.
Like Jim Broadbent, he plays.
It's somewhat like a cast made of Wes Anderson characters,
but like more realistic, but like as hilarious. So Jim Broadbent plays an actor who gained a lot of weight, but then he went on a diet. He shows up on set and he asks only for hot water and lemon, and then he starts eating basically anything he can find, including dog treats, and he keeps ballooning up. It's hilarious. Who else is in the cast? So Jennifer Tilly plays the gangster's girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, Mary Louise Parker.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the dog? Yeah.
I knew it was her, but I didn't recognize her. She's an aging ingenue who shows up on set with a perky, hilarious attitude and a lapdog.
It's a Chihuahua, no? In fact,
it is a Chihuahua. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about that.
So fierce.
It's actually a Chihuahua Pinscher mix, which is exactly what I have.
Yes. That's amazing.
Tracy Ullman is in it. Anyway, so
but the interesting part is the caster that is like the bodyguard for.
I'll get to him. Just let me talk about the cast, and then the crowning like member of the cast is Rachel Weisz.
Yeah. Oh no, Rachel Weisz, no, Diane Wiest.
Who plays Helen Sinclair, who is a bona fide movie star, but she's not getting roles anymore.
It's Norma Desmond. It's basically Norma Desmond from the Sunset.
That's what I thought. In fact, I saw an interview with Diane Wiest, and they were asking her who her inspirations were, and she didn't say that. And I was like, "Are you kidding?" Anyway.
Okay, whatever.
So they start rehearsals, like read-throughs of the play, and Olive shows up on set with, she calls him her bodyguard, Cheech, played by, I love this actor. What's his name?
Chaz Palminteri.
Chaz Palminteri. And he's kind of a crass gangster, and he's supposedly a bodyguard, but basically he's there to like make sure Olive behaves, I think, and make sure also that she gets the stage time that she was promised. And he sits in the back row, and he starts to like kind of give his very, it seems crass, like unfiltered opinion. It's just very like basic when John Cusack is going for eloquent and intellectual. And at first,
more
like,
mundane and realistic perspectives. Yeah.
more, yes. Yes. So as his like opinions get louder and louder and louder, the cast start to be like, oh, that's a great idea. And John Cusack fights it at first, but then he realizes, oh, he's probably right. And eventually they strike up what you would call a friendship. But basically, Cheech
Partnerships, yeah.
starts rewriting the play, and he promises that he'll never tell, like, where he comes from, people don't squeal. But basically, he rewrites the entire play, and it's the idea that John Cusack came up with, but he rewrites everything, changes the way people speak, changes major plot points. And the show becomes an absolute phenomenal hit. People are calling John Cusack like the greatest discovery of his time, and he's basically a fraud. And I think Woody Allen is kind of showing this artist who's completely studied playwriting as hard as he can, but then he's willing to take notes or feedback from this mobster who never studied anything, but just this guy who has this innate gift. He just gets script writing, and he refuses to give in to other people's opinions.
Did you watch Hollywood Ending?
Is that a film? Because no.
Yeah, by Woody Allen. Okay. There is this one that is like a director that he comes from several failures in his career. Suddenly he goes blind, and he decides not to stop recording.
So he keeps directing, but just
he keeps directing, but he cannot see anything. You know, I mean, it's not of his best. It's not one of his best, but everything feels like just building up for a joke at the end. That is like basically just him realizing, it's like, am I a fraud? But it's like, you cannot direct if you're blind. So it's like, it's with Tia Leone, I think. And I'm going to spoil it for everyone. This is not like a really good movie from him, but at the end there is like this showing a scene when he recovers his sight and he's seeing what he directed, you know, and it was edited and everything, and he's like just in the seat about like just going down, and he's like, oh my god, this movie looks like it was directed by a blind man. It's like basically like 90 minutes setting up like that joke, and then they say that the movie, of course, it was a complete failure, except in France that they love it. So I think that part is like, I think there is like the fear of the like the fraud imposter, the imposter syndrome, you know. Yeah. But in this case, it's real. It's actually probably John Cusack's character had that feeling before, or never did have it, you know, because he was like just so full of himself, and with those friends that they were like just supporting that perspective. We are artists. Is that we are misunderstood. That's the point of being an artist. And then he actually sees this guy that is like, no, it comes completely natural to him because he's like just reflecting life. It's like, no, this is not that I'm an imposter. It's like I'm not an artist. There is nothing that I do that is like really worthy of being preserved.
And that idea is underscored by the fact that John Cusack strikes up a friendship that turns romantic, maybe, with Diane Wiest, where she reluctantly accepts the role of this woman who's a little bit frigid, and Diane doesn't want to play that. She wants to play someone who's, I don't know, louder, less puritanical, and she starts to manipulate him immediately, changing the role, making notes, giving him suggestions, and he's so desperate for her approval that he's like, oh, no, I'll rewrite it. Like, he just immediately just loses the conviction that
he never had anything. Yeah, absolutely anything. You know, is that now that he's actually with the power of I have like the control, is like I'm going to be like just giving it up immediately.
And in the background of all of this is just like scenes of the mobsters killing people on the streets.
Yep.
I don't want to give away the ending because like this is a movie worth watching. I don't know. If you want to give it away, give it away.
No. I'm not going to be like giving it away, but I just want to say like the sentence that completely cracked me up is like when actually like the gangster says that, is like, and I want you to know something. You're a terrible actress. I just couldn't stop laughing, you know, like probably for 30 seconds. Like I remember this from the first time that I watched this movie, like many years ago. I remember this scene
because Cheech believes in the play so much, and
Yeah, but we don't have to give it up,
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But it's like I found like that hilarious. I found like the sense of humor as he's not so much like trying to fit his neurosis. Yeah, his neurosis, as he usually does in most of his movies. It's like I felt like this is a bit more free,
And again, what we're talking about further underscores that Cheech is truly an artist with convictions, and John Cusack is just kind of a sniveling.
It's a poser.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a poser. But no, that's good. Neurosis. Did you like it?
Is that how we're gonna start this?
I don't know, man. I mean, what do you want me to ask you? You say I had a great time watching it. You say I had like from the beginning to the end about like, this is great. I'm having a blast watching this.
I liked this movie a lot. So when the film started, it's very much a Woody Allen film, and I imagined him behind the camera just saying, everybody talk at once, everybody talk, everybody just ad-lib, just say whatever you're thinking, just go with your character. And it was hard for me to get back into that just because it's been so long since I've seen a Woody Allen film, and I was actually thinking about my objection to early 90s Steven Spielberg films where he does that. It's just like children running everywhere screaming, and it's just like a lot to take in. But
right.
once I got into it, I was like, this is hilarious, and he's really putting all of his faith in his actors. And the acting is pretty incredible. Like the way, like Woody Allen wanted us to be super annoyed by Olive, and I was.
Oh yeah.
He wanted us to be enchanted and impressed by Diane Wiest, and I was. I mean, he just gets everything across that I think he wanted to get across, and it's a really compelling story.
A character that I really like, that I think that is like this is hilariously written, and it doesn't have like too much screen time, but it's like the girlfriend for John Cusack, like the one that is like, are you in love with the artist or with the man?
Those I think were genuine Woody Allen, like, I don't know, questioning things. And then there's this line that's uttered a couple times where they say, an artist with such an intellect constructs his own moral universe, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had to wonder how much of that was about Woody Allen leaving his wife for his stepdaughter. I was like, I had to look at how they fit in the timelines, but I'm like, I feel like he's justifying some shit.
Look, for watching and enjoying a Woody Allen movie, unfortunately, you cannot think about the director, like the creator. Is unfortunate, it's that he is a problematic character. So.
And I just loved watching all of the actors, particularly Diane Wiest, who actually ended up winning an Oscar for this.
Oh, nice.
And she's incredible. And I actually watched some interviews with her, and apparently she's in authentic 1920s clothing that was so fragile that she's not able to move her body in specific ways because the clothing would tear. And she talks about how that actually defined her character because it forced her to move in certain ways, and her shoes were incredibly uncomfortable. And so she ended up moving like silent film stars because they were in super uncomfortable clothing that would rip.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, so she was the only one that won an Oscar for this, but it was nominated to Best Director, Best Actor in a supporting role. The other one, like the gangster girlfriend, gangster wife, the screenplay, the art direction, the costume. It didn't win the costume design. That's weird.
Oh, interesting, because particularly the set design and the costumes are incredible on the show, like incredible.
Because that year, who won? Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
All right. Okay.
Take that, gays.
I will say that Diane Wiest made me laugh the most, and throughout the film, John Cusack who falls in love with her keeps trying to express it, and every time he does, she just keeps saying, "Don't speak, don't speak." And when he keeps speaking, she just covers his face and says, "Don't speak, don't speak." But it just says this up, "Don't speak, don't speak."
Yeah,
And then,
no, I love that scene. I love the scene. And isn't there like another character that does the same to John Cusack at the end?
at the very end, when Cheech is giving his final note to John Cusack wants to say things, and he's like, "No, don't speak."
No one cares about what you had to say, John Cusack.
So yeah, I was surprised at how funny this movie was. Like, I always find Woody Allen films funny to an extent, but not often laugh out loud, and I laughed out loud.
Yeah, because I think, as I was telling you, I think that he was more free with this one. Is that the other day I tried to rewatch Annie Hall. This is one of my favorite movies. I would say if I had to do like a top 100 movies, I would add Annie Hall. You know, it's like they are like quotes that I love from that movie. You know, the whole story I find it like super endearing, almost like a Greek tragedy kind of thing, but at the same time a comedy. And I think that it represents like pretty well what Woody Allen movies with Woody Allen as the main characters are about. You know, but this one doesn't. I mean, it feels like a Woody Allen movie, but it doesn't feel like it's attached or just carrying the shackles that Woody Allen movies are about.
I feel like he was able to take his ego out of this one somehow. Yeah. And it is about the artist, and is it the artist or the man? But yeah. I mean, he didn't put himself in the middle. It's not about one particular artist who's smarter than everyone else. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Should we go over the questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you watch it again?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
I was just thinking, like, how long. I wouldn't watch it in a year, but in a couple years, I'd happily sit down and rewatch it.
I had the feeling that this is a movie that I will watch in 2 months. You know?
Wow.
If someone tells me that it's like, hey, do you want to watch a Woody Allen movie, or what Woody Allen movie do you want me to, would you recommend me? I think that I will go with this one. So let's go with this. It's a good entry point. It's like you don't have to just step or dive into all of his neurosis. It's that this is a enjoyable comedy, you know. So, and it's like, I laugh so loud that it's like a part of me just thinks, is this because I didn't remember about the jokes? Because the one about like, the terrible actress, I was like, I remember this. My brain actually remembers laughing at this. You know, there is a connection.
When is the last time you watched this, just out of curiosity?
Like 12, 13 years ago, probably. I was still in Spain. Yeah, years before I moved here. And I'm curious if it actually would age properly. You know? I mean, it's probably if it actually the jokes is a bit more about like the shock value, or is because it's like really well played. And I think that is because it's really well played. There is no like surprise. 94.
So it's 28 years ago.
The same year as Ed Wood and the same year as Pulp Fiction.
Interesting. Wow.
That is, yeah. That's an amazing year.
Good year for film.
And then actually the winner to best movie was Forrest Gump, no?
No.
These things happen, man. Tom Hanks, Martin Doe, Jessica Lange, Diane Wiest, and the Avengers, Best Director Robert Zemeckis. He won above Quentin Tarantino, Woody Allen, Krzysztof Kieslowski, and Robert Redford.
Krzysztof Kieslowski was nominated for Best Director that year?
Yeah, for Red.
For the Decalogue?
Yeah, no, for Red. For Three Colors Red.
Oh, wow.
Back then, the Academy could actually recognize, not reward, but recognize talent.
Token. All right. Let's give that great European director a shout out.
And the same year as the Shawshank Redemption, that I don't like. The Shawshank Redemption.
I refuse to see that movie.
It was like the best rated movie in IMDb forever. You know, let's just leave it there. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would. I would recommend this as one of the better Woody Allen films, even.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this is a movie that I recommend to absolutely everyone.
Just under match point.
I told you that I never finished watching the movie. I gave up.
It goes Vicky Cristina Barcelona, match point, and then bullets over.
And then Cassandra. And then, God, that movie's bad. Yeah. Did you watch? What's her name? Melinda. Like the one that is like the same story that some friends are telling each other, and they say is that, oh no, I think that story is a comedy. It's like, no, it's actually a drama, and then retell the same story as two different genres.
Nope, haven't seen that one.
It's not the best, but it's a good narrative exercise. Could you remember it?
Yeah, I think so. Some of the performances are pretty impactful, and the comedy it's great. It's great comedy.
Yeah, I had to say that I didn't remember a lot of the details. You know, I just remember it's about like a theater play that they're putting together. The mafia is in between. Things happen. And there is like an escalation of it starts good and it's like, oh my god, this deranged completely.
Did John Cusack's character remind you at all of being John Malkovich?
Yeah, I mean, because he can only play one character. It could be like high fidelity being John Malkovich or things, and it's like he can only play that character.
As he like threw himself all over Diane Wiest, I was just like, this is exactly how he threw himself over Catherine Keener. Yeah.
Yep, exactly that. Is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah, the direction, the script I think is fantastic. The set design, the costumes, and I rarely call out set design or costumes, but this was great.
Yes, a period piece is pretty good, like the kind of care that they show with it. You know, it's like it's not like something like, hey, we went to the how do they call it, like the Halloween fest, like these places they pop up everywhere close to Halloween spirit.
Like the haunted houses or whatever.
No. Like these shops, Spirit Halloween, like the ones that they pop up everywhere. You know, like for example, at the ANC Van Ness next to it, at the entrance, they used to actually just place that during the season. It's like there was like a lot of work into it because everything feels like perfectly, you know, like selected. Is it a timeless piece?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, because this is not so much about like being in the 20s, this is about like just what is the difference between talent and posing for talent. Mm-hmm. Will you turn this into a TV show?
I think there's enough there with the different characters that it could be a successful TV show. My gut says I would enjoy more it just as a single like piece as the film, but I think it could. So maybe.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually brought maybe and I changed it to yes. I actually brought you on yes.
Has he ever done a TV series?
I don't think so, because this guy actually used to release like a movie a year. It's like he wouldn't have like any time for just writing anything else. So
then I will say yes, just because if he were to do a limited series, this is the one I would pick. Besides Vicky Barcelona.
Dying a fire. No, I agree. I think that this could be interesting to just like dig a bit deeper into each one of the characters and just making like every single episode like 30 minutes. And each episode is like the play progresses, but at the same time you only focus, you know, on the rehearsal on a single character and just developing like a bit more like the girl with the chihuahua, you know, or even like just digging a bit into the understudy that he plays because they never say too much about it.
Or I would have liked to have seen more. So at some point, Olive and Jim Broadbent start an affair. Like I think there's a lot of comedy there, like that could have been fleshed out. So there's a lot of vignettes I could pull out of this that I would say, give me 30 more minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think this movie could have been better?
Okay, there's nothing I can point out, so I'm just gonna say no. I think it's a great film.
Yeah. For me, it's like it's something that this is a rounded movie. Is that there is nothing, there is no fat. It's 90 minutes of enjoyment, like from the beginning to the end. There is
And it's also
nothing that
Woody Allen
changes.
at his best, in my opinion.
Yeah. Is that there is sometimes in Woody Allen films, I feel it's like just because you do a movie a year, it doesn't have to feel like this is the first draft.
Yep.
You know, it's like, and this way it doesn't feel like the first draft. It doesn't feel like you're rehashing like ton of topics that you already did on the past. It's like, no, this feels like an idea that you had and you execute it perfectly from the beginning to the end.
Agreed.
Yeah. Should we score it?
Let's do it.
Okay. Sorry. I'm like just adjusting my score. What is your score?
So I'm thinking specifically about last week's score of Benedetta, and I feel compelled to score this film better. So I think I have to give it a 9.
Oh my God. Okay. My score is an 8.5.
All right.
Because I was like, for me, it's that this is at the same level as Ed Wood. You know, is that these are like two super solid movies of a director just doing like something that is not exactly what they usually excel at, but is adjacent to it. And it's like, bottom line is like, you guys are amazing. A 9. Wow, a 9 to a Woody Allen movie. Who have told you that when we started recording this, that you will be doing this? Oh, no, man. Pretty happy to hear that you liked it. So, I forgot to ask you this before we started.
This before the recording. Usually we always discuss this. It is my pick. I'm going to choose Parallel Mothers.
Okay. So the new Pedro Almodovar movie.
Yes. One of our favorite directors, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I sent you like the news the other day that he's going to be directing his first full-time movie, like how is it called? Like feature film. In English, and the main actress is going to be Kate Blanchett.
And we love Kate Blanchett.
Oh, we do. I mean, if I had to choose between Tilda and Kate,
don't make me choose.
Well, but he actually directed that short, The Human Boys, with Tilda.
Right.
So
but I'm just saying, if we had to choose one to stay on Earth with us, I don't think I could. Well, I do know who I would pick, but it would break my heart. Not saying who.
I mean, I think that I would choose Tilda. I'm sorry. I mean, she looks too much like David Bowie. I have to choose her.
Plus, she was in Suspiria, one of the great films of our time. So
that's true. And Kate Blanchett was in No Sort of Scandal. So just saying, they made choices. They may be good, they may be bad. They made choices.
They just made choices. Got it.
Oh man, this was great. Pretty happy to hear that you liked it so much. Anything else to say about the movie or to our audience?
No. Go watch this movie and then wash your hands.
On that order, you can just watch this movie without washing your hands.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's fair. All right, bye.